Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0. City progressed to the 5th round of the FA Cup, and that is all well and good. Obviously, I did want to stay in the competition. I do like the FA Cup, but the main thing for me was what would we look like facing up against currently the strongest team in England. Obviously, Arsenal had not come to the Etihad since the beginning of last season, our second home game of last season, and they held 5 goals. But they have come on leaps upon bounds to get to this point today, and this was going to be a test. Many Arsenal fans will tell you, the FA Cup doesn't matter. We're going to play a rotated team. We really don't care about the result. But I think hand on heart, they will admit that coming to the Etihad, it was another test that they would love to have overcome. And, just for their players and their manager and their fans to get the psychological boost of we have beaten Manchester City, being well aware that we come to the Emirates for that big league game in 2 weeks' time, or 2.5 weeks' time on the 15th of February. I think they wanted to see how they would fare. They said, listen, we'll play a rotated team. They did play a semi-rotated team. We saw basically their full strongest starting 11 in scatters. We saw some of their best players playing together. We saw Rob Holding playing. He's obviously not a starting 11 player, but towards the end of the game, bar Bukayo Saka and Thomas Partey, it was a pretty strong Arsenal team. Zinchenko was on the pitch. Martinelli was on the pitch. Obviously, Jesus is injured, but we saw Saka in the first half, and he was locked down by Nathan Ake. I think Nathan Ake, the goal scorer, the winning goal scorer tonight, was absolutely fantastic, but I do have a caveat to that. Regardless, he absolutely had Bukayo Saka on lock. Bukayo Saka, I don't know if he looked disinterested. Was he frustrated? Was he struggling? But Nathan Ake, any 1v1s, he had Bukayo Saka on lock, and I was happy. I think I do have some the caveat I was going to talk about was the centre half thing, because obviously Stones has gone off injured, and it does not look good for us. Stones held his hamstring, he walked off, he looked very unhappy, and this kind of links to my Ake point, which is that Stones is probably our best ball playing centre half, and my caveat to Ake playing great tonight was that Ake actually is quite poor, as a ball playing centre half. I think you need John Stones, and then you brought Laporte on, and he's much better at it. Laporte was making some, very progressive passes. He was playing in between the lines much more. He looked like he wanted to progress much more comfortably than Nathan Ake, whereas Nathan Ake, he likes to turn back and play it sideways. We did a lot of sideways, backwards passing tonight. Was it by any means City's best performance of the season? No, but we know this in these title races where you're trying to build momentum, or in any competition, you're trying to build momentum just so you can keep trucking along. You have to grind out these ugly wins, and it was a slightly ugly win. I think our attacking players struggled at times. I think Gundogan, he was struggling to have a bit of flair. He played 1 or 2 slightly progressive passes that didn't really reach their destination in Erling Haaland, and he's someone I need to talk about, Erling Haaland. I saw a lot of Arsenal fans on Twitter saying that Rob Holding held Haaland down and blah, blah, blah. Just because he didn't score does not mean Rob Holding pocketed Erling Haaland. I want to put that on the table nice and early. Rob Holding did not pocket Erling Haaland. I got the stats here. Haaland won 5 of the 7 duels that the two players had, including, or you have to include, that Rob Holding also received a booking. I think Arteta is experienced enough to realise that had Rob Holding continued into the second half, he probably would have been sent off, because Haaland was physically battering him, and it was only a matter of time before one of those batterings led to another goal. I think all in all, our build-up play was poor, which is why we had to rely on a centre half to get our goal tonight. Obviously, Jack Grealish, great assist. Grealish continues his GNA streak, or good performance and good performances in terms of GNA since the return after the World Cup. Nathan Ake didn't go for power, went for precision, tucks away in the bottom corner. That's fine. We had very little chances in the first half. I think we're struggling to create. Rodri wasn't really linking the defence with the attack enough. I think because the likes of Ake and Akanji aren't really comfortable coming out with the ball and playing those, penetrating passes, it means Rodri has to drop probably slightly deeper than he would like, and it just didn't work. In the second half, I don't think we turned it up a gear. I think we just used our experience. I think we scored our goal and we saw it out. We didn't go for more. I think we could have gone for more, and maybe on another day we would. But the main thing for us, like I said, was win the game, get into the next round, obviously, first and foremost, but getting one over on Arsenal is absolutely massive. Arsenal have now tasted a little bit of a humbling. They've tasted a little bit of a humbling. Now listen, I'm not sitting here saying we've absolutely slammed Arsenal and that will put them back in their box. Absolutely not. I think Arteta will be overall pretty satisfied with his team's performance. I think if you put a lie detector on Mikel Arteta before the game and asked him, are you desperate to win this game? The truth probably would have said he wasn't. But the last thing he would have wanted was an absolute hammering and a slaughtering of Manchester City with that Premier League game coming in, 10, 15 days time, or 15, 20 days time, whatever it is. He avoided that. He didn't get a battering. I think they had their chances. I think a massively impressive performance from Stefan Ortega and Nets did save us a few times. I think Arsenal did have their fair share of chances, but they did look frustrated. I think they did look frustrated. I think you saw Zinchenko at the end. You saw Odegaard in the last 10 or 15 minutes too. They looked very frustrated, like they weren't breaking down City's defence. I think whilst like I keep saying how our defensive players aren't the best coming out with the ball right now, they are very solid in doing their defensive duties. I think Akanji was fantastic in breaking up attacks and putting in challenges, like I already said, Nathan Ake and Bukayo Saka. I think the one little problem we had in the first half was Trossard was definitely probably getting the better of our right-hand side in Stones and Rico Lewis, but this is what comes with the territory of playing Rico Lewis, an inexperienced player up against what I deem to be a very, very good player, and he's in a great place now in Arsenal. He's only going to get even stronger. Your man Trossard. I think the main problem for me with City is I'm not taking away from this game and saying, yes, this is a massive statement performance. This is a stamp of authority. It wasn't. We did not look our tantalizing best at all. I think Haaland played well. People will talk about Haaland not scoring. Every time he doesn't score, people talk about it. We're feeding him the ball, and he's more often than not getting a flick on it, or he's getting a touch and he's holding it up. But there's absolutely no supporting players. There really is no supporting players backing up Erling Haaland. And these are just things I'm starting to notice over time that I'm kind of just telling you what I think right now. This doesn't link directly or specifically to this game. We've seen this before. You know, with our wingers being very telegraphable, if you like, it's kind of easy to mark them out of the game at times. But Haaland basically is up there on his own. He's getting flicks to absolutely nobody. And when you have a beanpole or a big man up front like Haaland, who is going to win plenty of ball, you need supporting runners. I think an electric winger, a Leroy Sané, I did a video on him the other day, didn't I? Maybe a Rafael Leao, who knows? Even a Sterling, a prime Sterling, you could see those kind of players picking up scraps off Erling Haaland. The problem is Haaland's playing too much with his back to goal through no fault of his own. He's being forced to play with his back to goal because we're not getting in behind. How many times did we get in behind Arsenal's defence? Arsenal will take a lot of positivity from tonight's game. I think it's fair to say they won't walk away feeling, oh, this is a big humbling or this is a psychological blow. I don't think so at all. I think they'll still be equally as confident going into that league game on the 15th. Only maybe they're slightly more cautious or aware of the threats that we can pose, and that we're not too easy to break down. You know, it will still be a massive challenge for them. I think we will up our levels, or at least I'd like to think we would up our levels going to the Emirates. I think Bernardo, a player who's been under a lot of criticism from myself and many other City fans recently too, he came on in the second half or in the last 10-15 minutes. He played very well. He actually played very, very well, added a lot of energy, added a lot of directness too. His hold of play was very good. So listen, am I taking a huge amount away from this game? No. I still think both managers probably played their cards close to their chest. Yes, Pep played a stronger team, but the team definitely didn't look as enthusiastic or as hungry to win this game as you might like. We still won the game, fantastic. Arsenal, they would have been happy to win the game too. If you flip the game over, the result over, I think it's the exact same thing too. We don't take anything huge away from this game. 15th of February's game is still an absolutely colossal game, and both teams will be looking to raise their levels going into that game. Of course, I'll do a preview close to that time, and I'll probably get an Arsenal fan on too, so let me know who you might like to see, maybe Turkish or one of the AFTV guys if they fancy coming on. Stone's injured, obviously, like I said, it's a massive blow. Will he be available for February 15th? I don't know. Ruben Diaz didn't get any minutes tonight. I think it would have been good for him to get some minutes into his legs tonight. He haven't played little to no football since the World Cup, if any, I don't think. Kyle Walker, big 15 minutes for him tonight to get into his legs. I'd be looking at probably playing him in the Emirates game on the 15th of February. But listen, is it a massive win for us? In one way it is, because you're getting one over. A little psychological blow for Arsenal. Nothing major. It really isn't anything major, if I'm being too honest. But we do advance to the next round of the Cup, so we'll have to see who we get there. Listen, let me know your thoughts down below on this game in the comment section. Do smash a like on the video. It massively, massively helps. We're on the road to 6K and we're moving fast, so make sure you smash the subscribe button and you can help us on that journey. And we'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Good night and God bless. Listen to your heart.